Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Amanda.
And I am Michelle, and welcome back to Natural Health Conversations.
Okay, today we're discussing light and specifically the light that comes from our own bodies.
Ooh.
Probably most people haven't heard about this or they think it's kind of woo woo, a little out there, not
Yeah.
real, not science.
And it's just not something that we normally think of, but we are, each and every one of us, beings of light.
That's right. And science is catching up. I think they've known this for many, many generations, probably thousands of years, honestly. But now we're getting the science behind it. And we know about bioluminescence. Everybody's seen lightning bugs. And you've probably seen, I remember this long time ago, walking on the sand in the evening, and you could see your footprints glowing after you. Well, that's bioluminescence of some of these sea creatures. And there are special kayaking outings in Florida where you row through the water and you can see the streaks of light from these bioluminescent creatures. So this is talking about the light that's in us as human beings. It's not as strong, it's not as powerful as these because we don't see it with our naked eye. Certain fungi actually are bioluminescent. Ooh. And insects, of course, we know that. But that's actually what's called biophotons. Have you heard of these, Michelle?
I have. And from the amount of research that I've done on light, it's like energy is known as photons. So I imagine that just energy, that our own energy would be known as biophotons. And well, photons what? So I know that energy known as photons, it originates from a source such as the sun. So where does our light and our energy come from? The sun as well?
Yeah. Well, we do get energy from the sun. That's why we need it. We need to be exposed to it every day.
Yes.
But these biophotons are actually generated as it's a process, a cellular process of various biochemical reactions in our body, in our cells. And it's related to metabolic processes, which is how we make energy, how we break down food. And also it's related to oxidative stress and free radicals. Okay. And this was first discovered. I want to bring up some of the science and the research from it. A Russian scientist, Alexander Gurwitch, in the 1920s. And that's pretty recently.
Yeah,
and
well, about 100, just over 100 years.
There you go. He called it mitogenic radiation. And that's something you can look at. So they're related to cellular activities. So I would assume the more healthy we are in energy and our metabolism and all of the daily processes and enzyme reactions and things that are going on in the body, the more light we're emitting. And, out in the woo-woo field, we hear about auras. Our body has a glow about it. And that's seen, you can photograph that.
Yes.
Some people can see it. Some people say, oh, your aura. The aura you can photograph it. There's special places, special areas that they can do that.
Well, and then what is the Carillion photography where it photographs the energy? Yeah, the energy of things.
Yeah, even like missing limbs and like teeth that's torn in half
and things like that. There's all kinds of photography ways out there that can actually capture this. It's phenomenal.
Right. Well, so some of the different ways that are producing light in our body, one is cellular respiration. And that's how our body is producing energy from glucose and oxygen. And that results in the production of biophotons that makes our light increase. Oxidative stress or reactive oxygen species, that can also emit photons, which that's not necessarily a good thing, right? And then there's the enzyme reactions, and those contribute to biophoton emissions as well. And enzyme reactions are happening every second in our body, hundreds, if not thousands of them. Our bodies are so complex.
They are. Is what we capture. So what, and also I wanted to add to the other things, the devices, the night vision stuff that picks up our heat and our light as well. So that's something that most people are already familiar with and isn't so woo. So when you can see things at night, it's picking up heat signatures. So that's just our light. It's another way of saying our light.
Right. Yeah. So these light emissions that our body's putting out, it's very faint. Like I said, we don't see that. If you turn off the lights and you're in bed with somebody, you don't see them lighting up, it's very, very faint. But they've connected it with cellular communication. So our cells talking to each other in the body. Also DNA regulation and homeostasis, just keeping things on a balanced keel.
Yeah, and it helps with our circadian rhythm, the light and dark cycles too.
Yes.
So another thing of light, which helps our circadian rhythms, which is also good for cellular health.
Yeah, absolutely. So the theories with the biophotons, why we're emitting light and what it does, it's not just there, it's thought to facilitate intracellular communication. So like a pathway in the body, kind of like our nervous system, right? We always think about the nerve endings and their chemical connections and how they're sending signals. But the light is actually sending signals throughout our body. And the cells of our body can not only emit, but they can absorb the light. Like we talked about with the vitamin D from the sun, they absorb the sunlight. And I always have felt,
absorb it, like it changes literally the color of your skin, and being out in the sun is healthy. Obviously, going out and getting a wicked sunburn isn't going to help anybody, but being out in the sun is very healthy and very healing. In fact, if I start to feel something coming on, I'll just go and sit out in the sun, even if it's a little cooler. Even when I take my dog out, I'll make sure in the cold months up here in the Northeast that I'm getting, just doing some sun gazing and getting at what I can when it is so cold.
Yes. And while we're on that subject, it's important to not wear sunscreen, because then you're blocking that light with chemicals, and also it becomes toxic to the body.
Right.
And sunglasses, the same way. We need to get the light into our retina, into the back of the eye.
Now, I will say, if you're going out for like a ton of exposure, you don't want to burn as well. So there are other ways that you can protect yourself. In fact, one of our patches, the glutathione patch, is actually really good if you are going out in the sun as well.
Excellent. Well, yeah, I mean, there are some natural things you can put on. But also I had read recently about seed oils, because of the way it causes oxidation in the body. If you're not eating seed oils, you won't burn.
Really?
Have you heard that?
That makes sense. No, I haven't, but it kind of makes sense. Yeah.
I'm going to try it out, but I don't burn much anymore anyway. I live in Florida. I have always felt a need to be in the sun.
Me too.
It's like recharging our batteries.
Oh my gosh. It's like if it's a cold or dreary day and then all of a sudden the sun's out, like if you've had a couple of days of rain, I mean, think about your mood just when it rains for a day or two and then the sun comes out on that second or third day and you go outside and you're just, wow. I mean, because I think too, I think that sun, it's related. It boosts serotonin, our vitamin D levels. Like this is how light heals us. And we not only have it externally around us, but we have it inside of us as well.
Yes, it's so cool.
It is.
I mean, you think back to creation.
Right.
Is let there be light. That was the creation moment of light in the universe. And that's the same light that's in us. It's a photon, right?
Yeah, and light activates cells as we've been talking about it, then stem cells are really the foundation of life. I mean, that's how a baby's born. It's stem cells, growing and
multiplying. Yeah. Oh, there's that spark of light. Speaking of baby, that spark of light at conception, that's been photographed. You know what I mean?
Fascinating. Yes. So even we as human beings come from light.
Right.
So light really is our main source, I would say, if not the source.
And yeah, I mean, external and internal, and as a form of communication. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to let you tie that back into the patches in a moment, but let me talk a little bit about Dr. Fritz Albert Popp. And he studied these biophotons, and he theorized that they were some kind of a biological laser within the body, and that helped to coordinate the cellular activities, regulation of DNA, as I mentioned before. And I think that's so important with all of the radiation and things that we're exposed to that can damage our DNA. And that the photons, the biophotons in us, are helping to maintain that a healthy structure and function of the DNA and gene expression and repair.
And as I think I mentioned it on a previous episode, that our telomeres are communicators. There's more and more research done that the ends of our telomeres, which are in our DNA, right? And they're communicators of all the functions. So they communicate not only within our body, but they communicate with things external to our body as well. So even that sunlight is communicating with the sun, with everything that's around us, and with ourselves internally. So it's like probably, I guess, the ultimate communication system, and it's free.
Yeah, right. The telomeres are amazing. That it's like the ends of our genes, right? Mm-hmm. And as you age, they start to wear off and they get shorter and shorter. And that's like how our bodies wear out at a microscopic level when you think about it. Now, my scanner that I use will actually give a numerical representation to the telomeres on every one of your genes. Mm. And this was another thing. I shared this in a podcast a couple years ago that I saw with myself when I started using the patches, the X39 particularly, was that I had some telomeres that were shortening, and I could see they were out of range. And after, I think it was about 6 months of using the patches, they were starting to lengthen again.
Pump back up, yeah. Yeah, mm-hmm. A good friend of mine relates them to the eraser on the tip of a pencil. Uh-huh. And I think that's a good analogy. That's how you can think of telomeres. It's kind of like that eraser on the end of a pencil. I thought that was good.
Question is, without the help of the patches, are there other methods that can rebuild that eraser? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, definitely our stem cells, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But can it rebuild it despite all the stuff that we have sort of been exposed to? I would say against our will in some degrees, and maybe some of it of our own choosing. Yes. But so I mean, that is the key. And the stem cells, the more we activate them, the more that activates our own light, which then in turn, spiraling. It's like this whole thing that happens that benefits us just from light.
Yes. Well, let me talk a little bit about how they've discovered the biophotons and how they're able to detect them. Okay. They say that it's very highly sensitive equipment, obviously, because the emissions are so weak. Mm-hmm. And the range is a few hundred photons per square centimeter per second. That's how it's measured. Okay. And they use something called photomultiplier tubes. Okay. And CCD cameras. I'm not sure what those are, but these are in laboratories where they can actually detect and analyze these emissions. There was a study, and this was a journal called PLOS, PLOS1 in 2009, that revealed that the body emits this visible light. And it's primarily in your face. It's interesting.
Maybe that's what they say Because internally when they say, oh, you're glowing,
Yes.
and that's what we equate it to. It's like that intuitive mind still sees it. Even
Right.
though maybe our sort of like, everyday, whatever brain, but our intuitive brain says, you're glowing, and people see that. You can see it. It's hard to describe it. You can see when someone's glowing.
Right. Well, I think there's communication that happens between people and, of course, inside our bodies, but between people that is undetectable on a conscious level. But, those biophotons may also be there for communication between individuals, from individual to individual.
Yeah.
Especially if it's in the face. Why else would it be in your face?
Yeah.
Because that's how we communicate face to face.
Exactly. That's why we never want to cover up our face.
Oh, there we go. That's another rabbit hole, Michelle. True that. And it's not just our mouth and nose. Some cultures covered the whole face. The eyes. But the biophotons actually fluctuate in our body based on our biological clock, how old you are, and also our metabolic rhythms, maybe whether you're digesting food. And so this is all
for healthy weight and healthy metabolization of toxins of food.
Yes. Well, they're doing a lot more research into this now. It's so brilliant because he was using this whole idea of photons over 20 years ago when he started working on the energy enhancer patch for the U.S. Navy. Because all of that is on the light that is reflected from our bodies. Let me go over just a little more science, and then I'm going to get back to you on the patches. So I want you to explain that. But they're doing a lot more studies on using this camera of checking the biophotons to diagnose diseases, which we don't really care about, but to monitor health and develop new therapeutic approaches. Maybe even at some point, our cell phones are going to be able to look at us and go, oh, your biophotons are low today. What do you need to do? So it kind of shows a little bit about our health status and maybe becomes a diagnostic tool, even though our communication face-to-face with people, we're diagnosing in our subconscious all the time.
Right.
You don't look well today. You look off. What's wrong? Are you okay? But they're also using, obviously, light to treat certain conditions, skin conditions, depression. There's the whole
link. Light therapy. There's all like the different, the color lights, the red, green, blue, all the therapies that are out there.
And you think about like seasonal oppressive, what is it?
I think it's bad. Seasonal
affective disorder. Right. When I lived in Iceland, I had a terrible time with that. Ooh. I did not want to get out of bed. And if you live in an Arctic area, we were right outside the Arctic Circle. I think, Alaska and even Maine is pretty far north. You get a lot of darkness in the winter, and our bodies, like you said, we need that sunlight. It affects our eyes. It affects our brains. And that probably affects our biophotons as well, our own internal light.
Right. And if you're not getting enough sun during the summer months when you can be outside, you store that to use during those months in the winter. So if you're not outside in the summer a lot, you're probably going to be even more affected by the seasonal affective disorder because you haven't built up that vitamin D levels and all that other stuff. It makes sense.
Well, Iceland doesn't get much over 70 in the summer. I had to come home to the States just to, take off some layers and
I agree.
But so anyway, David knew about this over 20 years ago. I mean, of course, they were discovering it in 1920, but you got to research to find these things out. They're just not like, we're not told about this every day.
No, it's not in books. I think even in medical studies, unless you're in an alternative and more natural focused course.
Well, even, I mean, I got my naturopathic degree 11 years ago, I think it was. This was new to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I had to research this. I'm like, okay, well, I hear all the time we're light beings and I know about the auras, but what is the science behind it? And yeah, it's there. People just need to hear about it. And hopefully that's what we're doing. We're helping people.
That's the goal.
Learn. And so tell us, how does our own biophotons relate to the way the patches work?
So what happens is we don't even need the sun with this patch. All we need is our body. So when you place it in this on your body, or even as I am right here, even just on your clothes, this is actually activating my light. It's using it as a reflector. So this is like a little reflector of our own light. So it's sending that signal, using my own light to send a signal back up to my brain to do something. And we do have a lot of patches. Well, really not a lot, maybe like 10 or 12. But each one of those patches does a certain thing. And our main foundational patch, that activates GHK copper peptide in the body, which in turn starts your body producing stem cells again. More of those pluripotent or embryonic stem cells that you said, those new baby stem cells, to go out and air and do all the stuff and undo the stuff that we did.
Right. Yeah. So each patch is different, each type of patch. It's a little matrix, if you will, of salts and sugars, and it forms a crystalline structure, just like salt and sugar do. They're crystalline, right? And so each one, it's just like a different part of the prism. It's activating a different wavelength, right? Because the X39 doesn't do the same thing that the SP6 does.
It does not. It's all different, like you said. It's all different frequency.
Different
wavelengths, a targeted wavelength, I guess you would call it.
Yes, exactly. Targeted. So that was a lot of research.
And to go a little further, in case you do really want to research this, it's called phototherapy. So there's all different types of phototherapy. So this is a form of phototherapy.
Photo meaning light, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So it's all natural. We've got just the crystalline structure there.
Right.
That is like this one is glutathione. It's stimulating glutathione production in my body.
Yep, I have an alavita on the back of my neck, which is stimulating my collagen. It's helping decalcify my pineal gland. It is helping my tissues. I have a friend who rebuilt a varicose vein.
Wow. That's great. I wear the alavita at night, right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see a difference in the morning.
Oh, yeah. It also, believe it or not, helps with our eyesight. My eyesight is already improving. I'm down 0.5 in each eye. So,
nice.
Yeah. So things are really happening, whether you notice them or not. Sometimes you don't notice things all at once. I notice things happen a little bit more subtly. Because if you think about it, light can be kind of subtle too. Like we just don't even think about it sometimes. So while we think of the light as these big bright things, like sometimes the light inside of us, we don't see it. It's much more subtle, but it's doing its job.
That's right. Well, this has been a fascinating conversation, Michelle. I enjoyed it as always.
Very much.
And we thank you all for watching. We enjoy having you and hope that you'll join us again next time for Natural Health Conversation.
And I will add, may the light be with you all.
Till next time. Okay.